Hey friends, Ash here with Gents, and today I've got one of those haul unboxing first impression videos, and this one is centered around niche and indie fragrances. So I've got 4 to go over with you here today. 2 niche, 2 indie. I've got Penhaligon'S Portraits Collection Roaring Radcliff, Ormonde Jayne, Ormonde Man, and 2 fragrances from Xyrena, which is a house that I low-key really love. So one of those fragrances is this one, Blue Dream, and the other, Masc. So without further ado, let's crack into these, check them out, see how good they are. So I'm gonna do the Xyrena fragrances first, just because I like Xyrena that much. If you're not aware of Xyrena, they're a really quirky indie house. Their fragrances come packaged in these sick boxes. They look like VHS boxes. So for those of you who were around back in the day, you'll remember VCRs and VHS tapes. That is exactly what these look like. I'll bring these in for a closer look here in a second, but you've got the name of the fragrance right here. It looks like basically a cheesy kind of poster for an action film, at least for this one, Masc, which is short for masculine. This is supposed to be their take on a people-pleasing, versatile, masculine kind of scent, maybe a blue fragrance, if you will. And then on the spine of the box here, the Xyrena logo looks like a Blockbuster logo. You remember Blockbuster? Some of you do, some of you don't. And then on the back, a write-up on the fragrance. You open it up, and your fragrance sits inside like so. Because these look so cool, let me show it to you a little closer up. So here you can see the front of the box here. This guy looks like the absolute ultimate douche bro. I mean, he has it all going on. He's got the sick tribal, showing off the abs, douchey face, and then he's showing a little bit of, what do you want to call that? Junk root. We'll say junk root because I don't want to get demonetized for saying something else. And here is the spine of the box. Again, Masc, and it's an action fragrance. And here is the back of the box here. A lot of information there. I mean, if you really wanted to, I guess you could pause this video and read that, but we'll just leave it at that. I guess I'll read just a little bit from right here so you know exactly what they're going for with this fragrance. So they basically say that Xyrena is a house that doesn't believe in genders with fragrances. They think basically wear whatever you want, which I believe that too for the most part. And this fragrance, they say, is the first fragrance that they've made that maybe is intentionally trying to lean one direction more than another. Instead of being unisex, this is unisex leaning masculine, basically. They're saying that this fragrance is a timeless woodsy signature scent that'll instantly tell people, I'm a dude. With just one whiff, then in the words of 80s rock band Survivor, the search is over. So they've taken some of their favorite masculine notes and created a sexy, crisp, clean, versatile scent that can easily be worn both day and night for any occasion. Top notes include mandarin, red berries, and fresh, peppery basil with a heart of herbaceous, woody florals over a base of rich musk and cedar. We can't promise Masc will turn you into an action star, but it'll definitely increase your odds of getting some. Then this is the standard Xyrena bottle. Actually, I've got a few of them I'll bust out here to show you. And you just have a sticker right over the front there that says Masc. So there is a good look at the bottle. And the fragrance inside, as you can see there, is a nice blue coloration. So I grabbed some of the other Xyrena fragrances that I own. I've got Sneakerhead here. I've got Dark Ride, Cinemaniac, and Basic B-word. Will I get demonetized if I say that? I don't know. You can see it right there. I feel like such an idiot too. Basic B-word. And then there's Xyrena 66, which comes in this style of bottle. And I've got to say, between these two bottle styles, I much prefer this one. I'm not going to talk about those. That'll take too much time. Let me just go ahead and spray this one on, see how it smells. All right, moment of truth. It's a little bit alcohol-y off the top, so there's a blast of alcohol kind of once it first hits your skin here, so I'm gonna let that settle for a second so I don't get overwhelmed by that. At this point, here right in the very initial opening, it's giving off kind of a shower gel kind of vibe. It does come across like a blue fragrance on the more basic side of things to me. It doesn't smell bad, but it's not really impressing me at this point. A lot of Xyrena's other fragrances are like themed fragrances almost. So Cinemaniac is supposed to smell like going into a movie theater. It smells like popcorn, it smells like licorice, pretzels, soda, stuff like that. When you smell it, you really get the popcorn, like bow. So that one, you know, a lot of people are gonna say is not wearable, but it's neat to smell. And then Dark Ride is supposed to smell like what it says it is, a dark ride. So a theme park, water ride, essentially. It smells like chlorinated water with like fog that you'll find in like Pirates of the Caribbean at Disney World, something like that, or a log flume ride. So they have a lot of fragrances like that. Sneakerhead is supposed to smell like a new pair of sneakers. So a lot of times they're not necessarily things that you would think, oh, that's wearable, but you smell it and you go, that is really neat though. It's almost like a conversation piece or something like that. Masc here though is supposed to be more of just a wearable, versatile blue fragrance. And it's not super impressive to me. I love Xyrena, and Xyrena is basically a one-man show. So when you order these, if you ever order them, it could take a while to get to you. These took like 4.5 weeks from when I ordered it and when I actually got them. It smells pleasant, but it's just a basic blue fragrance, and at the price that this costs, there are a lot of better things out there. I'm gonna let it continue drying down though, maybe it gets better. Next up, let's check this out, Blue Dream. So this is from their Reefer Madness collection, which has 3 fragrances, each one of them based off of a different strain of marijuana. Now I gotta let you guys know, I am not familiar with how marijuana is supposed to smell, so I'm gonna come off like the lamest person on the face of the planet. I have a general idea, but I never got into that. Not when I was younger, not now, not ever. I don't have anything against it. I mean, if you wanna do that, you know, knock yourself out, I don't care. But this seemed really cool, so that's why I got it. So here you can see it, Blue Dream. And then on the back, it's got some stills from Reefer Madness, which is pretty cool, and then a quick write-up on the fragrance. Open it up, and there it is. So here's a better look at the front of the box here, and the spine of the box, and the back of the box. I said it before, I'll say it again, I love the presentations. So awesome. And let me go ahead and give this one a spray. Ooh, okay, that's strong. That is way stronger than Masc. I can smell that immediately, wow. That's interesting and kind of cool. It's got blueberry, it's got a cannabis note, and then I think soil as well. And it says on the back here, to achieve a true-to-life interpretation of Blue Dream, the formula combines both synthetic fragrance oils with natural terpenes found in cannabis. Did I say that correctly? Including alpha and beta pinene, linalool, and carophyllene. I said that incorrectly, I apologize. Try not to flame me too hard. So you do pick up the blueberry, but it's kind of an earthy green blueberry. It does have a little bit of that sweetness, but not an overload. And again, I'm probably not the best on earth to give you a, is this hyper realistic smelling to cannabis or not rating. I apologize for that. But it does come across a bit like cannabis, at least from what I can remember smelling from other people. Am I coming across like the lamest person on the internet right now? I probably am. There is a little bit of that soil feeling, like I said, like a soil vibe. Sometimes with fragrances that have a soil note or an earthy note, it kind of hits you like on the back of your palate almost, if that makes any sense. Like you'll breathe it in and it will be the last thing that lingers in your nose after you smell the fragrance, that earthy tinge. And that's what happens here. When you first breathe it in, you get that little bit of cannabis note and the blueberry, that slightly green blueberry. And then after that's gone, you pick up that earthiness. Not to the same extent, but sometimes like if you're outside and you breathe in like dust or dirt a little bit, it doesn't choke you necessarily, but then if you start to speak right after you've breathed that in, you'll kind of do like this kind of thing. It's like that. That's what it feels like when you breathe this in, when you get a good whiff of it. That slight earthiness kind of lingers that way. This is more interesting. I do think it's pretty cool, and I'll have to ask my wife. She's probably a little more familiar from her younger years of how this should smell, and then I'll let you know if it smells a little similar to cannabis or not. And I'm smelling Masc here again. It's pleasant, it does smell nice, it's got a little bit of sweetness in there. Ultimately though, it does come across like a shower gel kind of scent. Next up, let's open up this one, Ormonde Man by Ormonde Jayne. So this one I have smelled before, but it's been a while. I bought a Decant years back, and I put this on my list of fragrances that I wanted to pick up and just never did until now. Presentation here is quite nice. It has this slip cover, then the box is inside of there. You've got the ingredient information on the back of the box, and then the box opens up like so. There's a little card there. The bottle sits right in there. And here is the bottle. It is quite nice looking. Got a nice heavy metal cap, and I'll go ahead and just spray this one on. That way we don't have this video run too long. Yeah, that's really nice. It's a nice, woodsy, fresh, dry, spicy kind of scent. So there's juniper, pink pepper. It almost comes off a little bit like cypress initially, though cypress isn't a note. I think hemlock is a note. Yeah, pink pepper, cedar. Basically, like I said, fresh, spicy, a little bit dry, woody, very classy, masculine, gentlemanly kind of fragrance with a good amount of versatility. Yeah, this is the type of fragrance you wear day, night, casual, formal, doesn't really matter. You can pull this off in almost any situation. Quality, quite good. Everything from the presentation to the way the fragrance is coming across here is thumbs up for me. Like I said, I had smelled this years past. Bought a decant of it, used that decant up, and had put this on a list of fragrances that I wanted to buy. So super psyched to get this one in my collection. Yeah, that smells freaking great. It's got like a green, woody feel to it. That's one, especially in the spring and fall, I'll get use out of. In the wintertime, I might wear it here and again, you know, now and again, but especially this upcoming spring, I'll be busting that out. Now let's open up this last one, Penhaligons Roaring Radcliff. This is the first one from the Portraits collection that I own. Penhaligons is a house that I really like in general for their barbershop kind of fragrances. Those are the ones that I prefer the most. And they're actually pretty affordable as far as their standard line of fragrances go from discounters. This one is, like I said, from their Portraits collection. And these have very cool caps on them, which you can see right here. They are considerably more expensive though than their other fragrances. So here's a good look at the front of the box and then the back of the box there for you. I'll read this for you. I'll try to put everything I have into it. Being the son of Lord George certainly explains Radcliffe's weakness for the flesh. But being illegitimate, he is unburdened by expectations and indulges himself with fast cars and faster girls. He lives for parties and provocation. Sexy and rebellious, every well-bred girl succumbs to his leathery and tobacco fragrance. So this one has honey, tobacco, beeswax, other sweet type notes. Here's a good look of that bottle. Yeah, it's got this cool metal cap here. This one being a lion. Each one of these fragrances in the Portraits collection has a different animal cap. And let's give this one a spray. Okay, so this one I think got compared or gets compared to Tobacco Vanille by Tom Ford. I don't really get that off the top, I've got to say. I mean, maybe a little similarity because it's a sweet tobacco type scent, but not the same. There's a tarragon note in the opening, and it's not overriding the notes in the top, but what it is doing is giving this kind of nuance, like this green nuance, sort of, and it's taking things in a different direction from Tobacco Vanille, which is something that when you spray it on, you get that rich, deep sweetness. There's also a boozy note in the opening, rum, I believe it is. So you've got this honey, beeswax, rum, tobacco kind of thing going on. There's also rose in here, cinnamon, and tonka. And that tarragon note pretty quickly does kind of fade away. So it's most prominent there initially, just in the first few minutes. And then that starts to fade away. It's kind of on the edge, the periphery initially, and then it starts to dissipate. and more of that sweetness comes in. One sec, I'm gonna go ask Chelsea about this fragrance. So I went upstairs, talked to my wife, and got her opinions on all 4 of these fragrances. Her favorite one, Ormonde Man, which probably my favorite one also. I will say though, Roaring Radcliffe, the longer it dries down, the nicer this smells. It's a really pleasant honey tobacco sort of fragrance, and it is quite nice. The 2 Xyrena fragrances, Masc actually smells better as it dries down. In the initial opening, when you first spray it on, it's got that alcohol blast going on, then it smells like a generic shower gel. The longer it goes, it starts to sweeten up and becomes more pleasant. For the guys out there who are hardcore into fragrance as art, even though this is, in a way, fragrance as art, it's kind of taking shots at blue fragrances while at the same time being a blue fragrance. They still might dislike it because it is a blue fragrance. That is, though, absolutely a wearable, versatile fragrance that could pull you compliments. So even though they're taking shots at blue fragrances and people that like blue fragrances, it's a decent blue fragrance. And then Blue Dream, my wife Chelsea, she gave this a smell. She said it does not smell like any cannabis that she's ever smelled in her life, and that it smells earthy and sweet at the same time, which is exactly what I think about it as well. She did like it though. She did say it smelled really cool because it does have that contrast of being sweet and at the same time earthy. I think though, for people who are not into indie fragrances, not into fragrances as art, stuff like that, it could be hard to pull off because it's not something that's what you would think of as a fragrance that you would wear out on the town or wear casually or to the office. Overall, not let down by any of these. I like all of them. My favorite is going to be Ormonde Man, but all the other 3, Blue Dream, Masc, Roaring Radcliffe, solid in their own ways. So really, really happy with this one, or this haul, I should say. If you've smelled any of these fragrances below, let me know what you think about them in the comments. And if you want me to review any of these, feature them a little more in depth, let me know that as well. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thanks so much for all of your support. I'll see you guys again tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.